All right. Hey there, everyone. Can you hear me? I think it's kind of weird how some of these things are working right now. So I'm actually sharing my entire laptop screen. And what's ending up happening is that I can't see everyone. So I'm just going to switch back really quick. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it looks like everyone's here, and we've got plenty of attendees and more rolling in. Really excited to see everyone. So today we're going to be talking about several things. We're going to be talking about general Manta Network updates. Thank you guys for being here. Myself, Victor, and Shumo are all on the call. And unfortunately, Shumo, he can't set up his video right now. And so we're kind of, we're waiting on that. But while we're doing that, we can go ahead and begin. So there's quite a few, I guess, updates that we want to give. First is the updates on Calamari Network. Then we're going to talk about our general development updates. And then at the end, we're going to have a Q&A, an AMA. So please, write your questions in the crowdcast and we'll get to them. For the Calamari Network, we're going to talk about our upcoming PLO, the incentives and bonuses, as well as the details about the event. And for the development, right, we're talking about the current status of our development, the testnet launch, as well as our upcoming roadmap. And then finally, we will end with the AMA. So I guess, without too much further ado, I'm going to hover here to hide. Okay, never mind. Here, close the video. So first, we'll talk about the Calamari Network updates. So for those of you that are not familiar with Calamari Network, it is actually our Kusama deployment. So it's our canary net on Kusama. So just like other projects have been bidding for the Kusama slots, that's exactly what we're going to be doing as well. We're starting on slot 6. And this is going to be really exciting for you guys because this means that you're able to participate in our PLO auction coming up. We anticipate that, it's probably going to take about a month or maybe less than a month for the next slot auctions to begin. So just if you have any sort of Kusama holding, definitely stay tuned for that. We're really excited to launch Calamari. And so, yeah, you can go to our website and I'll type the link here. And using that link, you can actually go check out and view additional information about the crowd loan, and all the details are going to be there. But I mean, just to summarize, right, like Victor will talk a little bit more about the details of the crowd loan, including the bonuses and, what are the perks for participating.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I will start. Can you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Can I share the screen or how's that work?
Yeah, if you go to the top of your video, yep, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. How can I go this? Yeah, let's just talk about the token and the crowd loan. Can you see the token distribution?
Yep, we see your screen.
Yeah. Okay, great. So actually, there's only 3 words if you really need to remember about the calamari, and it's actually very different with most of the projects in the other tokens in the crowd loan space or in the the whole Polkadot space. Like the first is like community driven fair launch, and the second is we don't have private sale, and third we don't have team token. That's the whole token distribution idea for the KMA. So we want all of the token finally goes to the token holder, and the token holder can actually use this token to test our product and to test all of the features, because Calamari will get a lot of new features, but all of the features, some will go to the Polkadot, but some of them maybe not live on Manta based on the the performance or the governance. There's actually it's like several parts for the distribution. The most important and the largest part is the PO supply. We take a fixed ratio because we think the fixed ratio can guarantee the reward of Kusama. Like so, the early contributors, portion of KMA won't get affected by the late participants. So they will get like fixed ratio. But early contributor definitely will like get a reward, like 10% bonus for the 500 supporter, and the first and the 500 to 1,000 supporter will get like 5%, and the referral fee like both sides will get 2.5. So that's kind of the like all these kind of rewards also coming from this 30%. So we will have a like hard cap, and we actually have like 3 level of hard cap. That's kind of the design to make the like economic optimal. If 10% of the token with 100K like Kusama can get a parachain, then it's actually no need the rest of the part of token like KMA to make the incentive. And the rest of token where it goes is just goes to the treasury save for the later parachain auction. Yeah, that's the idea of the whole design. And besides that, like, so how can like team or like investor or others of like Manta's supporter get a KMA? The only way is when the like Manta token live, they will lock their Manta token like for a certain period to get the KMA token. So that's the way, So when the KMA token live in the early days and the Manta token haven't launched yet, like no one will get that. So the circulation will be only this 30% with the part of the marketing. And what's the marketing percent for? And the marketing is like we are thinking the marketing should have like part of it will goes to the we will have a small public sale and to incentive more attract more people to engage with the Calamari network. For those who never heard of us, but maybe once they participate the public sale and know what we are doing, and they can actually contribute the KMA, the Kusama as well. Yeah, so that's the general idea, and all of the development funds and the liquid mining and the PO reserve will like use for the next year or maybe years later, and the liquid mining will start when we have the Manta Pay and Manta like the Mari Pay and Mari Swap, and the dev fund is just for the future development when we have the new products, and also like incentive for some like partners and development partners or like other kind of the outside the contributor. Yeah, that's the idea. And for the current PO, we have the fixed ratio is 48 weeks, and the like vesting schedule is like this: 34% release immediately, and the rest is for the 8 week. So besides this 34% of the 30% PO, the other like initial circulation will be only the marketing side. That will be part for the like public sale. Yeah, that's it. So we are happy to get feedbacks, and also the Calamari is only kind of like test net, so we can see if the economic feature works or not, and we will make the decision how to like go how to launch the Manta token, and for the other part token release like liquidity mining and log drop, there will be a lot of there will be a lot of like governance part involved in this decision. That's the reason why we will launch the Unchained Governance right after we get a parachain, and we try to make all of this like transparent and decentralized. Yeah, thank you so much. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. So for the audience, right, just to kind of remind you guys, one is, we are doing ambassador points as well. So if you guys are ambassadors and you're part of this meetup, don't forget to screenshot this and tweet about it on Twitter. And we see that there's already a lot of that content flowing in. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. And also, we have some polls coming up right now. So 2 questions out. Would love to hear from the community. First of all, what region are you in? If you just click on the polls, the active polls at the bottom, you can see that we have 2 questions. One is, what region are you in? Please let us know, just so that we see and better understand exactly, what our audience turnout looks like. And then the second question is, will you be using KSM to contribute to the Calamari PLO? And of course, these answers are anonymous, so we don't know who you are. Just trying to get a general sense of what the audience is looking at. So yeah, just take a moment, fill those out, and we'll be setting up for the next part of the conversation, which is the technical developments. And then once we finish up the technical developments, we'll begin our AMA. I see there are a lot of questions about the ambassador dashboard, and so we can definitely talk about that as well. So yeah, stay tuned. And I think next up, Shumo can talk a little bit more about the technical development side, including, what we've done so far, as well as what our roadmap looks like. Shumo, are you there? I think you're on mute. Let me try to find Shumo.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
Try like 2 minutes to. Can you mute? By the way,
yes.
There is an echo. Yeah, try the 2 minutes to find the unmute button. Okay, let me share screen as well. So can you guys see my shared screen?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Oh, great. So yeah, let me try to update the technical development. So we have been kind of in a crazy hackathon rush in the last 3 months. So let me list the technical development one by one, right? So as you guys may already heard, but if you guys, some of guys are new here, our first product is going to be called Manta Pay, right? So the Manta Pay is the name of the protocol, but the first kind of like a launched prototype would be the testnet. So for that particular product, it contains basically 3 different parts. The first part is the backend. The backend, of course, first is the protocol, and then the protocol implementation on the blockchain, which included the ZK Snark part. So in past Q2, we did a lot of optimization on that. So basically, we optimized our ZK Snark protocols so that our zero-knowledge proof time is improved by 30%. So that's the first thing we did in the last Q2. And the second thing we did the Q2 is that I think one thing also we kind of realized is that to let you guys to better use the product, we want a good wallet protocol. And here's the reason. So for the privacy concerns, Manta Pay is using a UTXO model, right? So for you guys who are know a little bit crypto, UTXO is kind of like the model of Bitcoin. UTXO is great for privacy. However, you need a good wallet protocol to give you the same kind of abstractions as an account, right? To you guys who don't 100% know what is UTXO, it's a lot of jargon, but essentially means that you don't have a account have a balance, and you have each different coins. So for example, you have a coin you have a wallet and you have multiple different coins. You have a coin of $10, you have coins like a $20, you have coins as $200, then you have $230. So basically, the goal of the wallet protocol here is give the user the same kind of, you don't want to deal with that, and we want to deal with that for you, right? So basically, the idea of the wallet protocol is basically to give you the same kind of interface as account. You don't need to worry about that. We'll handle that. We'll also handle privacy. You might say, why this is hard, right? A normal wallet protocol is not hard at all, right? So all the Bitcoin guys have done that like 10 years ago. But our wallet protocol also need to provide privacy support as well. So also there's like a lot of ZK snark going on in the wallet protocol as well. So we basically finished the wallet protocol design, and we finished the prototype implementation. So that's the second part of the technical development. And the third part of the technical development, so actually the Tesla backend and Tesla wallet protocol is like 100% done, right? And then that's a third. Then this is two things. Then there is a third part of the technical development, which is web front end and signer. So basically, when our testnet is going to roll out for Manta Pay, so you are going to have a very nice web front end to interact with that, basically like a lot of existing DeFi project. But there is an inherent kind of a technical challenge to do it for us, because again, we're using ZK snarks. The reason is that you kind of need to run a powerful kind of like a zero-knowledge proof generation on your side, right? It can only be done on client, otherwise it's not private. So we tried a lot of different approaches, and at first we tried to use ROS to compile kind of like a web assembly running on your browser for the zero-knowledge proof generation. Then we find that's not. It works, but it actually takes too long, right? So precisely it takes like 4 minutes. So for example, we don't want you to wait for 4 minutes to send a transaction. So then we actually choose a different approach. We call it Manta Signer. Basically, you need to install a client-end software on your Mac, Windows, or Ubuntu, for example. And then it's kind of a native workhorse for zero-knowledge proof generation. So basically, the web front end will send a request to your local client, and it will do the zero-knowledge proof generation. So, this is, I would say, the signer is about 80% of done, and the web front end is about 95% done. It's basically functional. We just need to do a little bit more kind of like a testing to make sure it have less bugs, right? So I saw a lot of you guys are asking questions about testnet launch date. So I think basically the philosophy of our team is that we move as fast as possible, right? So we work our butt off to try to make things faster, but we will not release a product until it's complete or until we think it's ready to release. But the rough estimation would be sometime later in this month. So I think it's only about 2 to 3 weeks away for the Tesla release. So that's a Manta Pay testnet, right? So that's I guess that's the first product technical update. The second technical update is basically Manta Swap, right? So while we working hard on the Manta Pay product, so we are also kind of doing some design and research work on Manta Swaps, right? You can see the biggest thing for Manta Swap protocol is that we actually figure out. So our previous protocol is great. It's actually the first private AMM protocol on Earth using ZK Snark. And now mostly Q2. So this the previous the kind of V1 version of Manta Swap protocol actually only guarantees the privacy of the traders. Now we are also guarantee of the liquidity providers. So maybe some of you guys have used a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, right? So basically you have two rules. One is the traders, you can trade tokens. Also, you can be a liquidity provider. It's basically, hey, I inject liquidity to a trading pair, and you gain some passive incomes, right? So basically in Q2 we solve the technical difficulties that we can make sure the liquidity provider is private, also guarded by ZK Snark. So that's I think that's the biggest thing. So in Q3 and Q2, we're also doing some anti-front running design and performance optimization of the Manta swap as well. So that's a kind of a brief technical update on the technical side and product side. And we'd love to hear you guys any questions and answer more specific questions here.
Awesome. Thank you, Shumo. Yep. So as Shumo mentioned, right, don't forget to ask questions if you have any, and you can ask them at the Q&A section at the bottom of this screen. And if you see the ask question at the bottom, to the right of it, actually, you'll see a poll. And the polling system currently has 3 different questions, some of which help us get to know our audience better. So don't forget to answer those polls, just so that we can understand who's in attendance and what you guys are most excited about. And then I think at the very end of our live stream, we wanted to take some time to answer the community questions that you guys have. And we've been collecting a lot of these questions over time, and so some of them are from the Google form that many of you guys filled out. We have lots of questions there, and some of them are from the direct live stream, just in the Ask Questions section. And so I think we have a really good collection of questions, and we'll begin. And so with that said, I'll just post the questions directly into the comments to let you know which ones we're answering. I don't think we have enough time to go through all of them, but the good thing is that many of these questions are fairly similar, and so we'll try to give answers that can, satisfy a lot of different questions. And so without further ado, let's see. Actually, before we do that, Shumo, would you like to talk about the Calamari roadmap? I think
Sure. I think I saw the question as well. Also, I mean, there are some similar questions. We can answer them together. Also, I saw in the Q&A what are areas of applications of Manta and Calamari will be differentiated, while Calamari has any practical application in the future with just a test platform of Manta. So I think this is actually related to the test map, but this is some concept. I think we would love to our community get a better hang on that, right? So the idea of the Calamari is that it's a canary network. So this is something actually invented by the Polkadot ecosystem, right? So basically, Polkadot has a canary network as Kusama. So the idea here is that the canary network is some network between the mainnet and the testnet. It's not entirely a testnet in the sense that the token has value. It's incentivized, so that for example, people like the developers, like a team like us, need to take better responsibilities, right? So we don't want to ship any features that is not secure to the Calamari, but it not as kind of like a mainnet as in our case Manta, or in Polkadot's case Polkadot, right? In the sense that we want to properly, it's still you can do a certain level of experiment in terms of product innovations and technology innovations. That the idea here is that in terms of a social contract, people are kind of more acceptable of iterations, of quick changes, in terms of both product and technical side, right? So in the sense that both Manta and Calamari will be community driven, right? I think Calamari So Calamari is not just a test platform for the Manta Network. The token has its own kind of intrinsic values. And in terms of the product side, in terms of application, right, I will say it will be the same kind of application, which means that for almost all the product and technologies that we're going to launch on Manta, we're going to launch on Calamari first, right? But it will be differentiated in the sense that, for example, right? So if we want the major kind of like a value proposition and major functionality of Manta Network is trying to bring privacy to the Polygon ecosystem. For Calamari, right? So Calamari's relay chain would be Kusama. So the first token Calamari is going to privatize is going to be KSM. And then we are working with other teams, for example, like Akala and Shiden, so to privatize their asset as well, right? So that's but that's also basically in short, Calamari will serve like a Kusama ecosystem, and Manta will serve on the majorly on the Polygon system. I mean, we do have plans for the cross-chain exchange as well, but that's a little bit future plan, right? So hopefully, and so I think that's dark anemic. Does that answer your question? So that's the difference between Manta and Calamari. So then let me share a screen about the like the Calamari kind of like a roadmap. Okay. Can you guys see my share screen? So
yes,
great. Yeah. So there are many things happens. So let me briefly go through them one by one. Right. Of course, the first is like we need to get a parachain first. We need to get a slot. Then before we get a slot, we cannot do anything. So basically, we want to have our own kind of like a PLO strategy. For that part, we have already released, and we might have some like a small amendment to that. The second thing is that basically we need to create our chain genesis. So technically this is done, just need to push a button. So then we need to wait for like a Web3 Foundation. They open the Kusama crowd node for the next batch. I think this will be around like 20 days. And then the Kusama parachain auction, and hopefully we can win a slot, right? So that's a auction part, easy. So the next is Unchained Governance, and this is very important because we want to make Calamari also Manta as a community-driven project and decentralized. So we will set up a community governance forum. So I mean, we already have a Discord. It's amazing that, but the idea here is that we can have some like archive discussion, in the sense that it's kind of like archived, so that you don't you just have a pointer to some like a web page. You don't have to discuss the same again and again, right? So and then we need to do the detailed governance stuff. So basically, there are two things. The first thing is set up a technical council. The technical council is basically the technical community to actually perform runtime upgrade, right? So the technical community doesn't have any voting power. It basically the community that execute the proposals. And also we want to add the governance palette, which is democracy, in the sense that whenever we do any like a network upgrade and any major protocol changes and any new major kind of like a product changes, there need to be a governance that all the in terms of the Calamari, all the KMA token holders need to vote, and then we can do things. Basically, this authorize any kind of like a protocol change and runtime upgrade. So we will do these two things before we unlock the token transfer, right? So So that's the idea of the Unchained Governance. And then, so for the Calamari's product features, so for the first like runtime for the first runtime we launch, it will have every functionality locked. This is more like for security. We want to making sure that the network is running properly and it's producing blocks like periodically, and it's the basic function is healthy. Then we will gradually release new features and adding new steps. So these are, if you go to the so these are the detailed steps. So so we will have a MariPay testnet. So for our first testnet, it's not for the so we call it lab features. Basically, it has Manta Pay, but it's not a fully functional Manta Pay. I mean, it's private, but you cannot mint for example, the KSM tokens. For the Mari testnet, right? So it will be like a full-featured testnet with all the private transfer features ready for the relay chain tokens. And then, of course, the Calamari chain launch. I guess this should be the first here. So basically, we launch the Calamari chain once after we get a parachain slot. So then there are a bunch of things to do before we actually release the real product MariPay in the Calamari network. The first one is zero-knowledge proof circuit audit, right? So to give you guys a little bit of background, right? So we are doing zero-knowledge proofs, and the core logic of zero-knowledge proof, we call it circuit. It's basically some computations that expressed in a cryptographic constraint system, right? So the tricky thing here is that once this circuit is set up, it's very hard to change, right? Also, as a decentralized project, we don't want to change the circuit often. So, so then we want to properly audit the circuit. Just want to making sure that the Calamari is not going to be hacked by some high knowledge hackers, who knows zero-knowledge proof a lot. And also, we want to do, and this is related, and after this zero-knowledge proof circuit audit is done, we want to do a community trust setup. So the idea is for the zero-knowledge proof circuit, right? So we want to remove, we don't want you to have to trust us, right? Basically, our goal here, the community trust app is running a cryptographic protocol called multi-party computation. The idea here is that we have a set of people, including our community members, including maybe some famous people in crypto, right? We all do kind of a trusted setup together. Let's say we have 100 person to do the trusted setup. As long as there is one person is honest. Honest means that this single person actually faithfully executes the protocol. So then we don't need to worry about we place some backdoors in the zero-knowledge proof circuit, right? In the sense that you don't, as a decentralized project, I think the trust is the most important thing. We don't even want you to trust us. You should just trust our code, right? Just see our code. Everything is open source. Also, we do the trusted setup so that we can do no evil in the zero-knowledge proof circuit. This is actually very important. And we will have a future announcement and call for participation for the community members to join the trusted setup, right? So, and of course, we want the community to run the collator, so running the blockchain load for us. We'll have a community collator program, but this is actually, we'll put the later stage. And in terms of product, right? So then also this will be a multi-stage launch. The first launch will be MariPay. MariPay is the first supported asset will be KMA, right? This makes most of sense because that's relay chain tokens. And then we will actually we'll actually to integrate with KAR. which is Aka's token, and also the broader like a parachain token asset integration as well. So yeah, that's a basic idea of the roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Shumo. Thank you for going into all that detail. I think the audience was very excited about that because they're starting to see a lot more insight into exactly what we're building out, how we're building it out, and the timelines. And yeah, so definitely if you guys missed anything or you want to go back, there will be a replay of this crowdcast, which means that anyone can go back and view the information at a later point in time. We'll also be posting this on YouTube, and we'll be sharing the link. So definitely follow us there and make sure that you can review this video, send it to anyone who has any questions about Manta. Thank you very much in advance. And so we have about 20 minutes left, and I just want to make sure that we can get to a lot of these questions because you guys are asking some really good stuff. And so we definitely want to talk about it. And for all the ambassadors out there, because there's so many of you guys on the call today, I know that the number one question on the ambassador side is, when is the leaderboard going to appear? So that's a really good question. As all of you may know, right? Shout out to Albiona, who's our ambassador leader, and she's also a very talented full stack developer. She built the landing page, and she's working on additional features right now, which include starting to track the various points from all the activities. And one of the first things that we're going to be integrating is going to be automated tracking of all of the Twitter points, which means in the future, right, you no longer have to just input all of your stuff manually. So we'll be automatically tracking that and assigning points to it. And so that's a great perspective for user experience. And that also kind of alludes to the fact that, we are starting to build out the point system. This is definitely something that we want to get to, but it's second priority because the first thing we want to do is to make sure that everyone's points are tracked and tracked accurately. And so that on the Twitter side is going to be released on sometime, well, I guess Friday today, or not today, tomorrow. And then following that, right, we're definitely prioritizing the leaderboard because we're hearing a lot from the community in terms of people's interest in wanting to track and see like what the updates are. And the really nice thing about what we're building out for the ambassador application is that the leaderboard that we'll be tracking, it's not just going to show your points, right? There's going to be a lot of fun other things that we can show, including like who has the most retweeted tweet in our program so far. What are the top retweeted tweets? What are the top memes? What are the most liked tweets, etc. So you can see what other community members are doing. And all different things that are highlighted from like things that people are actually doing. So definitely we do have the leaderboard on the roadmap, and we'll be working on that. So we'll be working on that along with a lot of other features coming out for the ambassadors. And along that line, right, I saw a couple of questions about whether or not the ambassador program is still open. It certainly is. We're still accepting additional ambassadors, and different regions have different ambassador leaders. So definitely apply. Make sure that you join the right region in your Telegram, and also we have different region chats in our Discord. And so once you join those, you can meet with the ambassador leader, and you can get all set up. Actually, I can send you a link right now. Let me pull it up. Ambassador program. Let's see. If you want to learn more about the ambassador program, just go to ambassadors.manta.network, and you can see all the information there, as well as the details about things like different Telegram links to different regions, and so you can get set up. Yeah, and when will the leaderboard start showing up? Q3? Definitely not Q3. I think it's definitely something that we've been working on or planning on building out since the beginning. I think right now we're probably looking at maybe at the most a month out. Albiona has definitely been working very aggressively, and she's multitasking on both the ambassador management side as well as the technical development side. So definitely we're trying to be as aggressive as possible to get this out to you guys. Let's move on to some other questions. So I think this one is a really interesting one, and we're asked about it a lot, and I think Shumo is definitely the right person to get into details about this. But what is the difference between Manta Network's privacy and other projects' privacy, right? And I think we can tackle this on different ways, right? Based on like TEE or other solutions out there like Zcash. But I'll let Shumo take the reins on this answer.
Sure. So for other projects, so I think it's hard to have a general comparison, but like Kenny said, there are different kinds of technologies. So there are ZK, for example, ZK Snark that we are using. So ZK Snark is not just a technology, right? It's actually a paradigm shift for the entire blockchain ecosystem. So ZK Snark is basically a way to hide the computation, but you can still verify the computation on chain. So to us, this is the only way to move forward. Basically, so because at end of the day, the privacy need to be reduced to some like mathematical guarantees, and that's what ZK Snark do precisely, right? So I think there are other technologies like TEE. I think TEE is great if you want to do some like enterprise computing off chain, right? But TEE cannot guarantee you the privacy of the data on chain. And so basically in the TEE's problem is actually not the privacy. You basically have this dilemma, right? So either you have the TEE can do the computation privately off chain, but once you want to reach a consensus of the data, right? How do you do that? So it's actually very, very hard to do TEEs. And I can send you guys a paper in the like I think Eurosys. Basically, there are some impossible results for TEE do the kind of like a completely private applications on chain, on blockchain. So that's the difference of TEEs. So you guys can see there are a lot of kind of like a project. They claim they can do ZK Snark. They claim they can do private AMM, right? But if you guys read our white paper, we are the first project to actually have very rigorous security proofs. The thing that people didn't realize is that security is very hard and privacy is hard. Basically, it's information leakage problems. In a lot of places, you can leak informations. And this need kind of like a rigorous in the protocol design, right? So so our team, we spend a lot of effort to designing a rigorous protocol so that we guarantee the privacy, right? So of course, right? So there are many kind of like a project that did very well in the space, right? So also they have a very strong privacy guarantee, right? So for example, we in terms of protocol design, we also learn a lot from other projects like Zcash. So they are actually the first private asset protocols. But we did a lot of innovation over Zcash protocol. For example, we are the first multi-asset protocols in terms of payment. And of course, like we are the first privacy AMM. So for example, one thing you can see the privacy is that if there is no security proof, then there is no privacy, right? So it's very, very hard to get privacy done. So you have to, at end of the day, you can rely to mathematics in the sense that you have reductions, basically have a forcible claim to claim like what is privacy. So if you cannot like properly define what is privacy, then it's very, very hard to get end-to-end privacy guarantee here. So that's the idea. So there are so many. Cryptocurrency is such a booming space, right? So there are so many projects that. So I will not dive into details compare each individual project, right? But this is a general idea. Hopefully, this will answer you guys' questions. So I think there are a few questions like about the technical side. So I will start from the most voted ones. So any plans for the testnet validator? No, testnet for the testnet validators, we will be running the testnet validators ourselves. So when we start then at the first phase, and then we will starting rolling out the community support for running testnet validators. So by the way, validator is not quote unquote the correct term. The correct term is the collator, right? So the idea here is that we want to make the infrastructure well so that you should be easy to run validator. Use a Docker container or something like that. So any plans for Manta Network token release, we don't have a concrete plan yet. We will not announce them unless we're ready. So any specific date for Calamari Network PLO. So the date for Calamari PLO is not dependent on us, right? So it depends on when the Web3 foundations open the next batch of slots. I think most likely they will open that in 20 days, but we don't know. I think roughly in the timeline of end of August, beginning of the September. So what's planned for Calamari Network? I think I have already answered that. The differentiators have answered that. Reward some node runners. There will be node runner reward, and this is still a work in progress. So that's the nature of the Polkadot ecosystem, because Polkadot has a so-called notion of correlators. So the correlator only guarantee availability rather than security. So the node runner incentives will be a little bit different. Also for Manta ourselves, right? So we will have a new kind of node called relayers. So the idea of relayers is that it will take a transaction, submit a transaction to guarantee the security, to guarantee the privacy of the transactions, right? So you guys will have a better chance of getting kind of like a node running incentives in Manta, because we have this new kind of relayer design. When will the Manta mainnet be fully up and running, usable? Doesn't have to be a parachain, but at least bridges to other chains. So that's a good question. So I think Manta mainnet will be fully up only after we do a Polkadot PLO, right? So this is currently there is no way you can support this parachain asset unless you become a parachain, right? This is so then we will have like a Polkadot PLO. I think this is what only happens after the Calamari PLO, and we launch a big bunch of test product on Calamari. So what will be public sale of mainnet token? This is again like we don't have any plan yet. We'll announce when it's ready. So what are the main advantages of Calamari over others? Is there a joint private sale? Yeah. So so I think Calamari, the way I will put it is that Calamari is a very, very important part of the entire blockchain ecosystem, right? So currently it's a kind of like the only solution you can provide a plug and play privacy for the cryptocurrencies, right? Is there a way to join private sale? I don't think we will do private sale. Dashboard, I think Kenny answered that. Launch if you win we immediately launch a working app. Yes, 100%. We will launch a working app. But the idea here is that the app, it just it is a web interface, right? So we will kind of like follow the Silicon Valley philosophy. We will launch product, do a quick iteration. We'll add things, keep adding things, keep adding things, keep adding things, right? The first app will just be kind of like show how many tokens you have. Then we'll add transfer of the KMA token, right? Add also the governance features. Then you can vote to use the app, and then you can privatize KSM using the app, right? So the app will launch immediately, but the function will kind of like will be added in an iterative fashion. So this is just a nicer way to develop things and to quickly get feedback from you guys. Okay, could you update to explain LP tokens? We will have more kind of explanation in the coming document. Currently, there is a private AMM market like Secret Swap. Yeah, like I said, so we are the first one to have a rigorous security proof. I will put it that way. I wouldn't say bad things about other projects, but we will not compare with like each single project here. I think that's pretty much from the technical side. I will drop the mic to Kenny and Vector to answer all the other PLO, the strategy questions.
Great. Yeah, I know that we're running a little bit out of time, so we probably won't have to answer everything, or we don't have time to answer everything. But one of the things I definitely want to get to first is we had mentioned there are some prizes in this in this this live stream. So I want to stay truthful and honest to that. And so the first prize will be a random drawing, and so this is very easy. And all you have to do is go screenshot this live stream, tweet about it, just like all the ambassadors are doing, and then tag Manta Network, and then also use this following hashtag, Manta Summer Meetup. And then once you do that, right, we'll be randomly selecting a winner from all the live tweets that we see. And the ambassadors, you still definitely get points for it. So it's sort of a win-win for everyone here. So take a moment and just send this out, and we'll be selecting a winner there. And then the next two prizes that we'll be giving out, these are based on how much you've been listening and how much you know about our upcoming PLO, Calamari Network. And so these will be questions, and what you do is you would answer the question, and then also do include your Twitter handle. And once you do that, then we'll be able to find you if you win, if you're the first response that's accurate, and we'll DM you and get your wallet address to send you a prize. And so I'll send it out here. So that's the format. Answer the question and then put in your Twitter handle. And the first person to get it right will be rewarding them. And so the first question is, what is Calamari Network's website? If someone asks you to find out more information about Calamari Network, what website do you point them to? Come on, guys, this is easy. Yeah, there you go. All right. Cool. So we got the first winner here. I never know how to pronounce your screen name, TXOT. But yeah, definitely. And then the second question, you guys ready for the second question? The second question is, we have early supporter awards. And so for people who are participating in the PLO early, right, they get bonuses. And so the question is, what is the bonus reward for the first 500 participants in our PLO? Okay, great. I think we have a winner, which is Vladimir Crypto 5. But Vladimir, could you also include your Twitter handle? That way we know how to communicate to you. Otherwise, we're going to have to hand this off to someone else as a prize. Yes? Okay, you didn't have to type yes. You could just tell us your Twitter handle. Please. Okay, so while you're doing that, we'll give you the rest of the 2 minutes to type in that Twitter handle. Let's get to some other questions. I see that there's one more general about the Calamari or the Kusama PLOs in general, and I think definitely Victor can take this question because he's studied the Kusama PLOs very much in depth, and he built the strategy around ours as well. And so the question is, what happens if we can't win the next parachain auction, right? Where does that Kusama go? So I guess, Victor, if you don't mind explaining a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we won't take any like Kusama all the time. I mean, yeah, the way to contribute Kusama, you can go to the centralized exchange or like our webpage, or also go through directly to the Polkadot GS. All of this way are either like centralized exchange, they custody the KMA, the custody the Kusama, and then directly participate the crowd loan to the Polkadot, or like you go through the DApp and go through Polkadot GS. It's all decentralized. We are not going to touch any Kusama all the time. So even after 5 slots, we still cannot get a parachain, or the Kusama will return to the contributor. It's like the first 5 slots as well. I mean, I know some project, they just collect Kusama to their centralized wallet. We are not going to do that. It doesn't make sense. And we take the KMA as a reward, and also as an incentive, and it's also a way as a token distribution for the early participants. And as I said, like the earliest participants are the guys who participate the PLO. That's the earliest participants. So we will give a really big incentive for those participants. And another a question actually about Manta is like, I think Manta are also potentially have a public sale or something like that, but we don't think we are going to do IDO. That's something like pretty concrete for now, and but please just follow us and just see like our updates, and the token won't release until the product is kind of ready, but there definitely will a token to incentive the whole network and to make everyone can like governance the network together. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. I know that we're out of time. Unfortunately, we can't continue because everyone's got stuff they've got to do. So we want to be respectful of that. We do see that there's a lot of questions, and so what we're thinking is that we should probably be doing live AMAs on a continual basis. And hopefully, this has been a very helpful session for you guys. I see one question pop up. Do you mean no public sale for Calamari or no public sale for Manta as well?
I just quick answer that there will be like, I think there should be like a Calamari public sale and the Manta public sale, but we won't have IDO. That's something we won't have IDO for Manta, maybe some IDO for the Calamari for right now, because we think Calamari is we can test the market and also see the how to make the outside Polkadot ecosystem to know what's going on the project. But for Manta, it doesn't make sense. It's like it got like enough backers and enough movements. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love your questions, but unfortunately we're a little bit out of time, so we've got to go. But we can definitely follow up on Telegram or Discord. Just ping us, and we can answer your questions there. We will definitely be setting up another live community session just focused on questions, and so we can take up the full hour on answering everyone. Really appreciate everyone's time joining us, and I hope you guys learned a lot. We certainly learned a lot too, like what region are you guys in? Mostly from Europe and Asia. And that everyone's really excited about MantaPay. This is great. So thank you guys for all this information. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll keep you updated on our next community call. All right. Have a nice day.
Ciao.